I think he charged me like 1,000 rand. So that's why it's actually quite expensive, guys, to actually find people to actually deal with mental health. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, my name is Puselezo, but better known on the social media streets as Mzansi Mom, and I basically do videos of everything about being a mom and just life in general, but mostly being a mom. So this is a part 2, and in the first video I basically talked about my depression and my journey with discovering I was depressed, but yeah, this video is more about like the detail in terms of what it's like being admitted into a mental health institution, the costs and so forth. So if you feel like it's a video that you want to watch, please click the like, click the subscribe button and the notification bell, so you'll know every time I upload. So yeah. So if you didn't see my first video, basically I went to a therapist who referred me to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist was basically like, I think you need to be admitted, right? And I shared just how I thought a mental health institution was. I was very scared of going, but yeah. So anyway, then I got admitted, and the place that I got admitted to is called Vista Clinic, and it is in Centurion. There's quite a few clinics around, so you can search for yourself if that is something that you feel like you need to do. Yeah, and in terms of so anyway, my psychiatrist, because he worked for Vista Clinic and I was already seeing him, he obviously then suggested that I get admitted to Vista Clinic. Okay, cool. Anyway, guys, let me take you through the first day. So the first day, you get in with your bags, your partner leaves you, or whoever brings you, both CMO, you fill in forms, and they want your history, blah, 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 blah. And then when you get there, they obviously tell you the rules. You're not allowed to bring any alcohol in, you're not allowed to bring any weed or any drugs, and then they take all your meds. So whether it's contraceptives, whether you have Panados, everything they take, and it's on them. And I remember walking in, guys, and they took me to my room. I kid you not, and I saw 3 other beds. 3 other. So I'm like, I am going to share with 3 strangers that I do not know. I won't lie, like that threw me off. Because I'm like, why am I sharing? If I was a crier, how am I going to cry in a room with these other people? Like, I was really concerned. So yeah, so they took me to my room, and there 3 other people. It's awkward, you have to greet. And then there are other rooms where it's just maybe 2 people in a room, but there are no, for where I was, I don't remember there being a room where people didn't share. There isn't a single room. Maybe people maybe you'll get there and maybe somebody is going to be there for like the next 2 days, so then they leave, and then that you'll have an opportunity to be alone. But the actual facility didn't have a room where you are just alone, and then they had a section for the ladies, they had a section for the men as well. And then it's a timetable, guys. There's breakfast time, there's lunch time, and then there's supper time, and you have to go at those times for the meals. And then they also have like other programs. So where I was, they have like classes, understanding anxiety, understanding depression, learning to set your boundaries, and classes like that, which were really helpful. And then your psychiatrist has to almost give you the go ahead and say, okay, I think you should go to this class, or I think you should go to this specific class. So it's structured, but there's also enough free time so that you're not always going to classes, and you don't feel bombarded. And another thing is, every single day you have to see your psychiatrist and you have to see your psychologist, right? So that's quite a lot. Like, you're going to do a lot of talking because you are there for either 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on your situation and where you're at. And yeah, guys, sure, I remember walking in, and the people that I was sharing a room with, guys, there are people there from all ages. Black women, older, black. I won't lie, the thing that shocked me was how many black men were there. I just like, in my mind, I'm just like, black people don't talk, black men especially don't, like, struggling with mental health is not something that they openly talk about. So for them to be at that place where they are admitted, I was so shocked. But anyway, yeah, so it's young people, black, white, all of guys. And the people are normal. I said in my first video that I really thought it would be like, you know, people that struggle with like women, schizophrenia, they catching flies or they're walking in the corridor talking to themselves. That is legit what I thought it would be. But guys, it's just like it's a resort, and you have roommates, and those people seem very normal. And people are admitted for different reasons. Quite a few people were also in there after losing their loved ones. So people that are mourning, but life is just too overwhelming, and the impact of this death has really like rocked you. So it was those people. There were people that were young, you know, struggling with, people that have attempted to commit suicide, people that have gone through rape. It's really people that are struggling in terms of corporate, and they have horrible bosses, and they are in a toxic environment. So it was like, I don't want to say normal, but things that were not like inesimahlanya. Inesimahlanya. And please don't, I'm not laughing because it's funny, but it's just what I assumed, right? So yeah, so then you arrive and you greet your roommates, and then they give you a timetable, and then every day at night, at 8 o'clock you line up to get your pills, because remember I said when you get there they basically take your meds, and then yeah, then at 8 o'clock they have all your meds, and they give you your meds, and everybody gets sleeping pills. The strengths obviously depend on your psychiatrist and what your psychiatrist has prescribed for you. There are also people that actually get given tranquilizers, so like it would be an injection, because they come there and they are like, it's a mess, like they're really in a bad state. So yeah, so every day at 8 they give you your meds, and you go, and I think lights out was at 10. What I mean by that is that they will switch off the lights and everybody is meant to go to sleep, and then at I think around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. then they'd come into the rooms and take your BP. I found that so weird, guys. Like, you are deep within somebody taking your hand, and like they check your blood pressure. But I think they needed to do that because of how some people were stressed, or maybe like the effect of the meds. So they did that, and they would, you know, see everybody's still sleeping, and they do that as well. Yeah, so it was good being there. I will say though, I think for me, being admitted was like, you know, when it's like things are bad, right? So I've had a very, like, my attitude being admitted was, if I'm being admitted, when I get out of here, I need to be hundreds, right? And I remember my therapist saying, no, this is a journey, right? This is a journey. You need to understand yourself. Your meds take a while to you know, to kick in, and therapy, there's a lot that you need to unearth. So don't put pressure on yourself and thinking that you are going to be okay. I mean, he would say that, but in my mind I'm like, I'm 3 weeks, I'm a psychologist, I'm seeing a psychiatrist every single day, I'm going to all these classes. No sir, like I need to be fine by the time I get out of here, and which I wasn't. So this is just to say that you need to take each day by day. There are people that return and get readmitted. There are people that are like, for them it's like a yearly thing. Like, I know I'm going to be admitted, and they're back. So anyway, so when I came out, it's extremely overwhelming. And the reason I say that is because being admitted, you are in your little circle, right? If you're a mom, you're not having to deal with making food and being there for somebody else. You are there to rest. So when I came out, and because I put that pressure and expectation on myself that I need to be fine, and then I wasn't, I was just like, I didn't know how to deal, guys. Like, going back to work, I was dreading opening my laptop, because I'm like, I know the amount of emails that are waiting for me. So it's hard. If you are going to get admitted, being there, I think it was great in terms of like getting rest and just being able to switch off, and having routine. It was really helpful. I'm not even gonna lie, it was really helpful. Ooh, excuse me. But I do want to say as well, when you come out, doesn't mean that you are going to be fine, and that's also okay. It's a journey, something that I really had to learn. So yeah, guys. And then if we talk about costs, so with the medical aid that I am on, right, I am on Discovery. So Discovery has a a benefit where if you are admitted, right, if you're admitted, I think they give you a max of 21 days to be admitted. So that doesn't come from your hospital plan, right? I mean, sorry, it doesn't come out of your savings. So they see it as you being admitted into a hospital. So everything is covered there. The food, the whatever is covered in that. And they give you, like I said, a max, I think, of 21 days. I think I was in there for 14 days. I can't remember. But then they also give you a certain amount of sessions that you can have with a therapist. And I think I had like 9. I can't remember. Without it having to go off your savings. So that was covered for, my sessions were covered for. Then they finished, ne? Then they finished, and now you have to pay cash. So just to give you an idea, psychiatrist, I think it was 1.5 per session, 30 to 45 minutes, it was 1.5. Psychologist was slightly a bit cheaper. The one was 600, the one was, I think he charged me like 1,000 rand. So that's why it's actually quite expensive, guys, to actually find people to actually deal with mental health. Yeah, so the 1.5, and then my things depleted, my benefit depleted, and then it went into my savings, which also wasn't a good idea, because then that meant that if my savings finished, after that, if my kids fell sick, I had to pay for it cash, right? And then my psychiatrist said, you know what, I do offer psychotherapy, so he can be a psychologist, but he'll give me cheaper rates. So from 1.5, then he was just like, that's going to be 900 rand. So that's 900 rand, guys, every single week. And I really appreciated that, because obviously the cost is down. So yeah, so that's in terms of the cost. In terms of therapy, now that is, guys, I feel like people don't say how difficult it is to actually talk to a stranger. My psychiatrist is a older white Afrikaans male, and I remember going into the session, guys, and he would just stare at me like, you go in, okay, you greet, and then he just keeps quiet. And I struggle with silent moments. After the second session, I'm like I really am uncomfortable with silent moments, because I'm just like, so in my head, you imagine that somebody is gonna say, you know, tell me about yourself, how was your day? No, Mzala, he doesn't ask you anything. And he explained to me, for him and his method, it's almost like climbing a horse, right? You climb on a horse, either you use the saddles, and the saddle, you know, you direct the horse, or you can come on the horse and the horse throws you off. So it's like an open thing. So a typical example is, I'll walk into the session and he'll just keep quiet, and then he'll ask me, what are you thinking about? Okay, why are you thinking about that? And things like that. And I said in my last video that sometimes it's gonna take a while for you to find somebody that you actually click with, to find somebody that you gel with, somebody that understands you, and even somebody who, you know, their methods go along with you. And I said in my previous video as well, sharing how I wouldn't recommend that you go on the internet and search for someone. Go with a recommendation. Yeah, go with recommendation, guys. But anyway, different strokes for different folks. So even that, it's been a journey. And I got to a point where I am now, I just see my therapist every 6 months. I'm still on sleeping pills, so obviously he gives me a script for 6 months. And also another thing that you guys need to know, that if you're not, even if you are diagnosed with clinical depression, right, for certain medical aids, if you don't have, for instance, like bipolar, you cannot take your meds. Your meds do not fall under chronic medication, right? They go out of your savings, which means that if your savings are out, you need to pay cash for your meds. And the meds that I was on, I think I was on 3 different meds. So that's the sleeping pills, anti-anxiety meds, and antidepressants. I think they all came around maybe 1,000 rand. So that's 1,000 rand that you're paying for meds every single month. And you're still paying for your sessions if you are going weekly. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to know, just wrap your head around it, and just for me to share that it is expensive actually. And people make it easy. People make it easy to just say, hey, go search for someone. Why aren't you talking to someone? It's really a process, because even if you have taken the steps to find someone and then you don't click with the person, now what? But I will encourage anyone, guys, go research. If you feel like you are overwhelmed with life and this is just like you're just struggling, do it. You cannot lose from taking time to heal, or just taking a pause in life. Do it. Go get yourself checked in. I will also say it really helps for you to have a good support system. Like I said, when I was admitted for 2 to 3 weeks, I think David took the kids to my parents' house for like a week, because now he also has work. It was just like going to be a lot for him. So if you do have people in your life that can, you know, watch the kids, if you are a mom, then yeah, that's something that you need to think about, and do it. But yeah, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I said, this is my second video being back on YouTube. There will be obviously vlogs, my day-to-day, but please let me know what other videos you guys want to see. What other topics do you guys want me to talk about? And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If there are maybe things that I didn't cover and you have questions, comment down below. Kita respond, because we are back. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys. Bye.